let me tighten up some stuff. When you are doing a debt validation to a debt collector, you have to understand where you're at in the process. Because if you don't understand where you're at in the process, they're going to disregard your debt validation. So let's start with number one. If a debt collector sends you a letter in the mail saying, hey, you owe us for this debt, then you do this. You look at the letter to make sure that they haven't violated any of the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act with that letter. They cannot have a third-party company send that letter. It could be difficult to figure that out because in the offices, they can use a meter mail machine. I know Pitney Bowes has it, or you could use stamps.com. So it can look like it came from a third party, but it didn't come from a third party. But you can check that out by either looking at the meter and the meter number, and you can see if it came from a third party, because that number belongs to a company. If it belongs to them, then they didn't violate by having a third party send it to you. Now, but if it does have some information on there from another company that's not the debt collector, then they have violated. Another thing that they can't do on the outside of that envelope is put like final notice or this is a debt collection. None of that stuff. They can't send it on a postcard either. So they cannot disclose to the postal workers, mailman, anyone that comes into contact with your mail that this is some sort of debt collection letter. Now, people might know if they've had letters that come from those debt collection companies, because that's why they changed their names to Portfolio, Resurgent, and LVNV. But people are going to know that that's a debt collection letter because they know those names. But in the past, they used to use different names. So if you're getting that letter early, that's what you're looking for. If they didn't violate any of that, then you're going to be sending. You wouldn't add it in there that they had a violation. If they violated, then you would send that with your debt collection. With your debt validation. You're going to state in there that you feel that they violated your rights by making whatever disclosures on the envelope. You could even take a picture of it, put some arrows, or make a photocopy, put some arrows to it, showing where they did violate. That is something that has worked. If they didn't do it, then they didn't do it. Now we're getting into the debt validation. When you're doing the debt validation, you're not just validating the debt, show me the contract, all that. You want to make sure that they had an attorney review this, because that is going to be required if they decide to move forward. Did an attorney review this? Because a lot of the times they just get the data from the file that they got from the original creditor and then send that out. Also, some of the times they got that from another portfolio company that bought it from the debt collector. So in your debt validation, you want to ask them all of those questions. It's not just about the contract and not just about the debt. It's also about how did they come up with that amount. So that's what your debt validation letter is going to focus on from that standpoint there. Now, there's other situations where they can disregard your debt validation. And I've seen this happen with a lot of people when they come to us or send a live chat or put a note here on YouTube, and they'll say, well, they disregarded my debt validation. I sent that to them. They disregarded it. Now they're suing me in court. And I would say, okay, let's work this down. Let's go through it. What actually happened and what would usually happen. This is what would usually happen. 9 times out of 10 is that the debt collector was suing them already. They had already started the process. So if the debt collector starts the process to sue you in court, if they start and put the paperwork and file it, if you send them a direct debt validation, I would say maybe they might send you something, but most of the time they're going to disregard it because you're in another playground with them. Once they take it to the court, you have to respond with your debt validation in your affirmative defense to them and to the court. If you don't do it, they're going to disregard it. That's the thing, is that you're giving them permission to disregard it, and don't do that. So If they sue you, do not send anything directly to them, because they're going to pretend like they didn't get it. And they have permission to disregard it, because everything has to go through the court once you do that. Now, not to say that you can submit it to them. Some debt collectors will be like, here you go. And they do that because they know that if they could get you responding with them back and forth and you disregard the court, soon as you walk in the court, the court's going to be like, well, why didn't you respond? Well, I responded to them. And they're going to be like, well, they sent us a few things. You're going to get into a back and forth with the judge. You're going to have the judge against you and them against you, because you didn't follow the guidelines that was instructed in that court summons. So what you do is you put your debt validation together, everything that I just talked about and more, and you put your full affirmative defense so you can have a fighting chance to win against them in court. That's the way you got to do it. So I'm going to clarify some things here. So at the beginning, when I'm going to review it, or you can rewatch this video, because when you rewatch it, some of the misconceptions will fall off, and then you'll pay more attention the second time you watch it. But in review, quickly, you get the letter from a debt collector. Look to see if there's any violation on that letter. Quick violations would be anything that would make people think that got that piece of mail other than you, that this is a debt collector coming after you. The name of the debt collector is not going to matter in this case unless they put debt collection company ABZ or something like A to Z or whatever on there. Potentially that could, but they do have a right to choose their name. And that's why a lot of them change their names from having debt collection in there. They'll say portfolio or something. No final notice, all of that type of stuff can't be written on there. Now, it can be written on there if it's an original creditor. So let me add that. But if they have none of those violations, or if they do have those violations, the next step when you do your debt validation to them is that you're going to put what you believe they violated on, and then you're going to make sure in your debt validation that you request more than just a signature and the original contract, and doing a debt validation about the debt, because they're going to just send you some statements. You want to make sure that an attorney reviewed everything, because most of the time, attorney did not review it. They just got the portfolio and they just sent it out, and they're trying to collect on it. That's what you do on your debt validation. And I forgot to say earlier, when you do that debt validation to them, that is considered a dispute. When you do that dispute, they have to put that on your credit reports within 5 days, if it's already on your credit reports. Hopefully it's not on your credit reports. If it's on your credit reports, then they have to put that on there within 5 days of you disputing it. And then there's a 90-day waiting period for that dispute. They can't do anything. They can't even negotiate. If you say, hey, what you sent me, I agree with it, you have to withdraw the dispute to even do the settlement, to even work it out. Like, say you got to get this, you're getting ready to buy a house and it's a $500 collection. They say, if you pay us $250, we'll just consider this done. You have to take the dispute off for them to even be able to do that. So you send that to them. That's if they have not sued you. If they are suing you, you have to submit everything in your response. Your debt validation would be within your affirmative defense for your response of the court summons. If you don't do that, they're going to disregard it, and then you're going to walk into court, and the judge is going to think that you have not even responded to the court summons. And you're going to be like, I've been communicating back and forth with them, and they're going to say, you have a summons to court, and it is required. If you read it, it says you need to put your answers to this summons. That is what is required. So this video, the purpose of this video is to get to kind of unmix up the mix-up, because people will say they're disregarding my debt validation and they got me in court. Most people, when they do that, they've already submitted documentation to take you to court, and that's why they're disregarding it. All right, so if you have debt collectors coming after you, grab my 3-pack of letters. The link is below this video. Statute of limitations letter, debt validation letter, and cease and desist collection activities letter. That'll give you a head start on dealing with debt collectors who are coming after you for debt and they have not taken you to court. Next, if they are taking you to court, then you need to write an affirmative defense with your debt validation. And there's a service link below here if you need help with that. Or you can watch I have plenty of videos on how to do it. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at creditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, what makes us different, so you can see my 8-point validation process, my 2-phase settlement process. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website your3scores.com to get your TransUnion, Equifax, Experian credit reports and all 3 scores. Thank you for your time. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and Founder of the Credit Repair Shop.